After trying out Qantas 787 economy on the way over, it's time to check out the other end of the plane in business class. This time from Auckland to Sydney on board QF4. What's it like these days, and is it worth the money? I'll try my best to answer these questions and tell you everything from the fantastic to the frankly disappointing. So come along and let's get into this review. After sort of a night at the Pullman Auckland airport, I say sort of because I don't think it was even 4 AM yet, I had to make my way to the international terminal, which is thankfully very close to the Pullman. Despite the Air New Zealand check-in being quiet, the Qantas check-in was very busy here for 4 AM. There was a long line for economy, but a lot shorter for business, so that was great. It looks like it's bag drop for economy at the desks, and check-in at the kiosks. And by the way, the Qantas check-in was in Zone D. Check-in for me didn't take too long, and the staff were friendly. I was told I can use the express lane for customs here, but it doesn't open until 4:30. There was some shops before security, including I think there might have been a cafe open. There was a good amount of people waiting to get through. The express lane was helpful, so security didn't take too long. Airside, there was plenty of duty free, and there also seems to be a decent amount of other shopping, as well as places to get food and drink. But thanks to my business class tickets, today I have access to the Qantas International Business Lounge here in Auckland. This lounge is not the biggest lounge for a Qantas lounge at an airport like Auckland, where there's lots of Qantas flights. But it's not tiny, I guess. The interior is probably due for a renovation. It's not the most modern. I do believe this is one of the lounges which Qantas does plan to renovate. This lounge still beats the Melbourne Dungeon Lounge though. There was a solid selection of food in the lounge, nothing too special but not bad. The drink selection was pretty good, with alcoholic beverages available, as well as a barista coffee station and the standard juices and stuff. The vibe wasn't anything special, just a bit businessy, but there wasn't heaps of a vibe. I later realised that there was another small area to the left of the entry. I was a bit confused by this, and I kind of still am. I'm not sure if this was the first class section of the lounge, but no one stopped me from going in there. This section had a couple pastries, and I saw a sign for at least one shower room. Overall, I thought it was a decent lounge, which was adequate but nothing special. Still worth checking out, but not one to get to the airport early for. Now let's make our way to the gate. We'll also take a look at Airside along the way.
The 5 passengers are waiting for you.
There's my ride to Sydney. Victor Hotel Zulu November India is a 2019 built Boeing 787-9 delivered new to Qantas. But this isn't any ordinary Boeing 787. This was the plane Qantas used for its first of 3 Project Sunrise proving flights. It set the record for the longest non-stop passenger flight by flight duration, when it flew from New York non-stop to Sydney in 2019, a flight which took 19 hours and 16 minutes. It's important to note though that this wasn't a regular scheduled flight. Boarding was done with priority and non-priority queues.
To Sydney, boarding will commence in approximately 10 minutes. Please check the seat numbers and remain clear of the gate until the number is called. Our business class customers, Qantas Platinum 1, Qantas and Emirates Platinum and Gold members, together with one more M1 and Southwire customers, will be reminded to board first via the preview boarding lane located.
It sounded like general boarding was being done by rows.
General boarding by row number from the rear of the aircraft via the right hand side. Thank you.
Sounds like boarding will commence about 25 minutes late.
Code share with our Onboard partners, service to Sydney. Those 1 to 12 to board the aircraft now.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Welcome on board one of Qantas Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners, featuring 42 Thomson Aero Vantage XL seats in business class, which I believe was designed by this Australian designer on screen now, along with the rest of the cabin, which I showed in my last Qantas 787 review. These business class seats are arranged in a staggered 1-2-1 configuration, with the seats alternating between whether the console is on the left or the right. I believe the odd-numbered window seats are what they call true window seats. I'll be seated in one of these today, in seat 1K, right at the front of the main cabin. There's also a mini cabin. Each business class seat features an adjustable headrest. In addition to a pair of headphones, a bottle of water and the menu, waiting for me on my seat was a pillow, I believe this is a mattress topper, and a regular blanket. The crew came around to me not long after I got on board with welcome drinks of champagne, sparkling water, or still water. I went with sparkling water. The crew member also introduced herself. Another crew member came around after a bit, asking for main meal orders. I thought I asked for sparkling water, but I got still, but I didn't really care. Now let's take a quick look at the seat features. There's the in-flight entertainment screen, which underneath it has something which unfortunately didn't seem operative on my seat. Not sure what it is. Just here there's a literature compartment. Also, the entertainment screen I thought was a decent size. There's the overhead panel. The footwell space on this seat is fantastic. I think it's particularly good on the bulkhead seats like this one. There's some seat controls, and there's a little bit of a storage compartment where the headphones and the bottle of water was waiting. There's also an adjustable reading light above that. Just there's a headphone socket, a USB-A port, and a universal power socket. Just here you'll find the IFE remote and a mirror. Here's the tray table, which can be adjusted back and forth. Here's a look at the menu for this flight. The menus just felt like a kind of paper, not card paper or anything. By the way, on this flight I was told that there would be danishes instead of toast. My glass was soon collected.
I'd like to welcome back our Qantas and Onboard frequent flyers on this flight Pacific. And if you're joining us from American Airlines, it's great to have you with us. Please place your bags either under the seat in front of you or in the overhead lockers. These help us to create a safe, respectful and positive environment for everyone on board by respecting each other and our crew. Once again, welcome on board. It's great to have you with us.
Hi, and welcome to my magic place, Litchfield National Park, just outside of Darwin. Give us your attention for the next few minutes and we'll keep you safe on this flight as we journey to the magic places of regular Aussies all around Australia and the world. Welcome to Qantas.
Today, I'm flying on an Airbus H125 helicopter. You're on a Qantas Boeing 787 Dreamliner.
Smoking isn't allowed on Qantas flights. Your aircraft is fitted with smoke detectors, including in the toilets, so there's no smoking until you're back on the ground.
Your Qantas magazine is located in your seat pocket. It contains a health and safety section with important information on deep vein thrombosis or DVT.
It's time to get ready for takeoff.
Seems like we've got a gate startup for some reason.
If you're in business, return your seat to the upright position.
Thank you for choosing to fly Qantas.
It's now time for pushback, about 16 minutes late. If you're enjoying this video so far, and you enjoy the content that I put out on my channel, please consider liking and subscribing. It would seriously help me out so much with being able to make more of these videos and the channel as well, as it helps YouTube to show this video to more people. If you don't want to do that though, that's completely okay. Now time for takeoff on runway 23 left. I forgot to mention earlier that the in-flight entertainment screen is in fact adjustable. Speaking of the entertainment screen, I won't go through it properly in this video since I did in my last. But what I will say is that it was nice and responsive and has quite a good selection. Normally you can view the menu on it as well, but it didn't seem to be working on this flight. By the way, arrival cards were handed out not too long after takeoff. Also, I just found whatever this is. The crew came around before the main meal service offering juices and the berry smoothie, which I went with. I thought it was super tasty. Also, I thought the blanket was very comfy and the headphones seemed to be of decent quality, though again, I don't have heaps of experience with business class headphones. The crew first brought around my tray with the fruit and the tea I wanted, and then offered a croissant or a Danish. There was also ham and butter. What? I think it was jam and butter, actually. I went with the bircher for my main meal, which was brought around after a little bit. Firstly, I thought that the croissant was very tasty, especially with some jam and butter. The fruit was also tasty. Unfortunately though, the bircher was average. Some bits were a bit clumpy and others were too runny, and I wasn't a huge fan of the flavour, though that's more a personal taste thing. I didn't think the presentation was great either. I later got a hot chocolate, which was nice.
If you are continuing on another international flight and have a boarding pass, check the screen throughout the terminal for details of your next flight departure. If you don't have a boarding pass, make your way to the Qantas transfer desk located next to the international security screen. If you're continuing on a domestic flight, please clear immigration, collect your bags and clear customs. As always, the Qantas ground team are happy to help.
The strict biosecurity rules that apply to you. We need your help to protect Australia's environment. Just declare it.
Here's a look at the seat in its lie-flat position. I thought that the lie-flat bed was very nice, as I expected. I reckon it's great lengthwise and width in the footwell too. Again, that might just be this seat. I thought the width of the seat was great too, though it does feel less impressive than the other things. Now let's have a quick look at the lavatory. When I went, it was relatively clean considering it was towards the end of the flight-ish. The only additional amenities I noticed was soap and lotion. It was a decent size, but not that big really for a wide body.
Clear skies. Lovely views of the city today, probably more on the right hand side as we approach to land in Sydney towards the north. We should have you on the tarmac at just on 15 minutes past 8, just slightly ahead of schedule at this stage. There is a shortage of parking bays in Sydney today, which means we'll have to park at a remote parking bay and bus to the terminal, unfortunately. have you there as soon as we possibly can. It's been our pleasure bringing you across to Sydney today. We do trust you enjoy this short flight with us, and have a pleasant stay in Sydney. If you're flying in Australia, welcome. Thank you.
As we descend into Sydney, please allow me to conclude this flight with Qantas and tell you if I think it was worth the extra for business class on this flight. Check-in in Auckland was busy, but I had no problems thanks to having priority. The Qantas lounge at Auckland Airport was adequate, but nothing impressive. Boarding, though late, was fine. I thought that the seat was fantastic and modern. Though the inoperative thing wasn't amazing, it wasn't a big deal. In terms of what I got, the in-flight service was really just as I expected, though the smoothie was a nice touch. As someone who doesn't drink alcohol, crazy I know, it would have been nice to have a mocktail or something else non-alcoholic. Like Cathay has the Cathay Delight, but that's not a big deal. In terms of taste, everything was tasty, except the Bircher was average. A bit disappointing, I think. The cabin crew were fantastic, very friendly, attentive, and professional. The service felt sort of relaxed, not in a bad way though. Excluding the bedding, the business class amenities, or whatever you want to call them, such as the menu and drinks, were not worse than expected, but no better. The bedding that we got though was great, though I'm not sure if you'd get all of that, particularly the mattress topper, if it wasn't the continuation leg of an ultra long haul flight. So overall, I really enjoyed this flight, because it was in business class. But I do think that Qantas offers, overall, a great 787 business class product. From Auckland to Sydney, the cheapest business class fare seems to be about $350 more than the cheapest economy fare. For me, on its own, that's probably not worth it even on a 787, and certainly not on a 737. But if you add all of the Qantas frequent flyer benefits into the equation on the 787, especially if there's a double status credits promotion on like there was when I booked this flight, I would say it might be worth it, depending on various factors. And because I tagged on a domestic flight, for me I think it was worth it, but I'll talk about that more in an upcoming video. If it's much more than $350 though, I don't know that I'd do it. Frequent flyer stuff aside though, considering Qantas mostly uses 737s, generally speaking I think Air New Zealand is probably a better business class option, if it still is like it was when I flew with them in 2022. But what airline do you think offers the best trans-Tasman business class? I'd be interested to hear in the comments. We'll soon pull into the stand in Sydney about 10 minutes early, but for now please enjoy the rest of the approach and landing on Sydney Kingsford Smith International Airport's runway 34 right.
Welcome, Sydney. Qantas would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the Australians, the Cameron Gold people, belonging to Botany Bay, and pay our respects to elders past and present. We have been advised that we will be using stairs for disembarkation. Please ensure you hold the handrails to avoid tripping. If you have any concerns, please use the forward door. On behalf of all of us here at Qantas M1 World, thank you for choosing to fly with us. If you're visiting Sydney, we hope you enjoy your stay. And of course, to those returning, welcome home.
Yep, crew disarm doors and cross-check.
I'd like to take this time to thank you all so much for watching today's video. I'd also like to thank all of my incredible Patreons for helping to make these videos possible. Their support is truly so much appreciated and I couldn't do what I do without them, so thank you so much to them.
Thank
you. See ya. Thank you. Thanks for watching until the end. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next one next Saturday at 5 PM Melbourne time.